me up when people pull guns on people. You're not a killer. I am.
Steve, you monster. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, sir. If you can't tell, this is not a matte painting behind me. I'm actually in Brazil at TCXP, which is like a huge Comic-Con. So I like throwing curveballs in my interviews, as you maybe both know. Is there anything that you collect or used to collect? That's a big thing at Comic-Con.
Oh my God. You know damn well, bro. Godzilla merch, because of my man Chris Mirjahangir, bro, I get all the merch I could possibly get. But yeah, definitely Godzilla stuff, all type of nerd culture. Steve, stop acting like you don't know me, bro. What is this question? Ask Gerard.
Well, this is also aimed at Gerard, who I don't actually know what he collects. And also, let's be honest, dude, you might have a few sports collectibles.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of Kobe memorabilias and things like that. Of course, Big 3 merch, of course.
Of course.
No, I don't have much in the way of merch. I have some sports stuff, but that's more from Scotland, like Celtic tops from games that I played in, or South African rugby tops. But it doesn't really, that shit doesn't work in America. A lot of coins from when I made, because, like coins when for naval coins. And I feel like I have enough to fill up the Federal Reserve of naval coins and stuff like that. But no, I'm not really a big merch guy.
My other curveball before we get into the film, if you could be an extra in any TV show or movie, going back to the beginning of cinema, what would you want to be an extra on?
Ooh. For sure, Baywatch. Sorry. Forgive me. They just seemed like they were having such a good time.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, Baywatch would be a good one. Barbarella, that would be a good one. Or something like, oh my God, I don't know.
I mean, I would love to be like, yeah, that's me running in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla or something like that. Preferably Gigan.
I love this question though, because it like opens the door on like what you're. Yeah. Anyway, let's move into the movie. So just being honest, so when you guys were making the first one, Chris was basically saying to me that he envisioned this as like more than one movie back when he was making the first. So how much did he say that to you guys when you were making it?
I think he's lying. I actually think Christian is lying. I don't believe there was any thought to making a second movie. I think it was just a great script that we had. And then when we saw how good the movie was, then we're like, oh, wait a minute. These are actually great characters. And, the movie's gone down okay. Let's make what about a second one? But I don't. Yeah, I don't think we were talking about a second one when we were making that.
It's always good. I mean, as a creator, you hope for that bit of longevity, but it's all on the execution. All of our ideas are perfect in our mind, but the execution is what's important. And then the response that it got. We deal in a world that fans really push the needle for us. So to leave it open-ended is what you should do as a creator. You never want to put yourself into a bubble, but we couldn't be happier how things have turned out. To be here again, to be able to flip the script like we have, to do it in a team up fashion. And we're grateful for the fan support, and we like to leave things open just in case.
I think one of the highlights of this movie is actually just the scenes of you two together, that shit on the street, at the party, when you're getting messed up. Like, you guys are really good together. So how much did you know, because in the first movie, you're not really together. How was it like actually working together? And do each of you work a certain way that is like similar to the other person or radically different?
Well, I mean, I think this time going around, it was definitely refreshing. I don't know if you're aware, but I don't get beat up as much as I did in the first one and the second one. And we started to realize we both like having a good time, even though our job can be so serious. It really speaks to having somebody that you can kind of breathe a little bit with, shoot the shit a little bit with. It helps with morale, and great morale makes great movies in my book.
Yeah, when I was working with it, I felt so bad in the first movie because we were always with him, either degrading him, punching him, slapping him, humiliating him. And in there, I was like, this kid's he's a good kid, but he's also he's a good, instinctual, raw actor. And I liked what he was doing. And I think at the end of that movie, when you see him in a bar in London and Big Nick, like, well played. It does lay that, lay it out beautifully for a second one, and then getting a chance to come together at a different level. And, we were improvising a bunch, just us being together. You knew there was going to be some fun stuff coming in that. Chemistry. I could feel that chemistry for sure in the first movie. But we were given a lot more opportunity in the second movie to dive into things and entertain.
So I love watching heist sequences and car chases, but I don't think people realize like what actually it's like to film those things and the level of what you actually have to do. So can you sort of pull back the curtain a little bit on what it's really like to film like a heist sequence like in Den of Thieves 2? It's
a lot of planning. It's a lot of planning because you don't really have the time to to mess around and get it wrong. There's obviously some growing that has to happen, like everything, when repetition finds the perfection. But then when you got somebody like Christian who has the vision, and him and Gerard have been able to make some pretty good gold for quite some time. And going into those scenes, number one, the stunt team has to be right. They have to be able to show you and to be able to speak to you as a performer to know what you're going to get yourself into. And you got to trust each other. And you'll find that gold.
But there does come a point once you get there, I think, that you just got to go. Let's go. We're here. Let's dive in.
Just do it.
Yeah, especially in these movies because, there is a lot of planning, but we're always trying to shoot more movie than we really have time for. And, if we're being honest, and that's actually what's great. That's actually kind of what's also great about these movies is when you are in a heist, you can tell that we are in a heist. We were moving fast. It was hot. We were wearing costumes that were very difficult to breathe in. We were overheating in, and we were climbing, and we were jumping, and we were pulling, and it was, and you were going and going and going, and sometimes as we started a scene, my heart was still racing from finishing the last scene, and I'm like, this is getting bloody dangerous.
Yeah.
And then in the car stuff, trying to reload, the shit flying everywhere, and then jump out the window and shoot backwards with the car swerving, and you're missing walls by a couple of feet. And then those hairpin bends. Every time we were on those hairpin bends, a 2,000-foot drop, I'm like, I don't have a good feeling about this. There's a point where we are not going to stick to that road, and we did. It was incredible, but it didn't feel like that. It felt very on the edge of control, which is actually perfect. If you make it, and then it's in the movie, it's perfect.
Yeah, shows up great on camera.
Yeah, that's the thing I think a lot. The more I've been talking to actors and directors and learning about the making of movies, I just don't think people at home understand like what it's really like making a film. They think that it's all luxurious and glamorous, and it's like getting in the mud sometimes or risking your life to get something great on screen.
Absolutely. People have no idea. Anytime I have a friend coming to visit a movie set that I'm on, even just a regular day, but if it's a hard day and they come to set by the end, there's almost nobody that comes and doesn't go, I had no idea how exhausting or how dangerous or just how much stamina. And by the way, fun, but it's a lot harder than people think. And as an actor, you're told, shut up. It must be really. But in actual fact, don't get me wrong, it's one of the most funnest professions in the world. But it is also, I've done a few other things. This is the toughest, but the most rewarding in a way. But it's beats you up.
It's it's not only the physicality, but just the mental exhaustion that goes into it too. To call on to an emotion that you're probably not even feeling that day, and then once you think you got it, we're probably gonna do it 11 more times. And then the other setup, you're gonna have to do it again another 11, and then the wide, you're gonna do it another 11, and so you're asking your body to to bring out things that normally go off of adrenaline and emotion and all these things. And you kind of have to artificially make it do that. So by the end of the day, when your head hits that pillow, you're like, wow, I was got hit by a train.
Yeah. And by the way, and then you get through that bit and you're like, yeah, we did it. And they go, okay, 9 a.m., you can have a coffee. Next scene, let's go. And you're like, now we're going to the wall. Now it's the wall. Now it's the elevator shaft. Now we're in the room. Now we're in the car. You're like, you're only 10% of the way through the day and you already feel like you've just come out of a battle. You know, it's
and then at the end of the day, you shoot the beginning where you pull up to the heist in the first place. You got to be calm.
Listen, I got to stop or they're going to kill me. I'm just going to say I really hope this is a huge hit for you guys. And you know, I wish you guys nothing but the best.